Lately, people been saying Blackpink feels like four huge icons doing a special collab. And honestly, it makes sense, because their solo success is on another level. The 12th of November 2018 changed the game. Jennie stepped out first, cleanly, and suddenly the industry had to look at Blackpink differently. Not just as four members inside one group, but as four stars who could stand alone without losing the name behind them. The results hit immediately. The track climbed to the top of Korea's Circle Digital Chart and Billboard's World Digital Songs Chart, and the music video later crossed 1 billion views, becoming the first K-pop female solo MV to ever do it. It didn't feel like a quick trend. It felt like the start of something bigger. Because once the wins started stacking, it turned into something bigger than a debut. 3 Inkigayo trophies, a triple crown, the choreography spreading everywhere. Fans moved with it. Blackpink had created a solo lane, and Jennie made it look natural. Then the big moment happened. Coachella 2019, Blackpink making history on that stage, and right in the middle of that set, Jennie performed solo. Not as a sidetrack, not as a separate chapter. It fit between group songs like it belonged there the whole time. It showed how a solo stage could sit inside a group set and still feel natural. And honestly, the fashion world understood Jennie even earlier than the music industry did. Before people were debating solo careers, Jennie was already building her image like a brand. Chanel Korea Beauty Muse in late 2017, Chanel Korea Ambassador in 2018, then Paris Fashion Week in 2019, and suddenly she went from Chanel's face in Korea to a global house ambassador. Soon, Human Chanel just became the way people knew her. Then 2020 arrived quietly, and the expansion became official. Each member locked into a different luxury house, like 4 queens claiming 4 kingdoms. No overlap, no fighting for the same spotlight, just clear lanes. Jennie brought that trendy youth energy to Chanel. Rosé carried sharp and edgy elegance with Saint Laurent, becoming their first global ambassador in 59 years. Lisa stepped into a modern look with Celine. Jisoo fit Dior's classic side naturally, rising from Korea ambassador to global face for both fashion and beauty. 4 members, 4 lanes, 1 name behind them. And that's when people started to notice something. Separation didn't weaken Blackpink, it multiplied them. The 12th of March 2021 brought the second voice. Rosé opened her chapter with R, led by and backed by Gone. You could feel the difference right away. Jennie stepped out first, but Rosé went deeper into the feeling. Less attitude, more honesty. And the impact showed up fast. On the Ground landed at #1 on Billboard Global 200 and Global excluding US, putting her in rare place as someone who could top both charts as a soloist and as a group member. Guinness World Records followed, and suddenly this solo era didn't look like a side project anymore. The visuals moved just as fast. The music video pulled 41.6 million views in 24 hours, breaking an 8-year record. The album sold over 448,000 copies in its first week, setting the pace for Korean female soloists at the time. But what made Rosé's lane different was the sound. Minimal, personal, and quietly heavy. On the Ground leaned into indie pop, and with Rosé co-writing, the message stayed close to her own voice. Fame, purpose, and the weird distance between success and happiness. Then April brought more. Tiffany & Co. brought her in as a global ambassador. Then the Met Gala happened, with Rosé attending alongside CL, both in Saint Laurent. Music and fashion stopped being 2 worlds for her. They started moving together naturally. Summer 2021 showed another side. Rosé appeared on Sea of Hope, singing in a relaxed setting, performing covers, and letting people hear her without the stadium lights. It felt simple, but it added depth to her image. Then the 10th of September 2021 gave us the third solo. Lisa arrived with, and her solo debut hit hard from day one. The La Lisa music video hit 73.6 million views in 24 hours, breaking the previous record and earning her 2 Guinness World Records. The album sold over 736,000 copies in its first week, clearing Rosé's record just 6 months later. She became the first female soloist to pass 500,000 first-week sales. The charts followed. Lalisa entered the Billboard Hot 100 at number 84 and reached number 2 on Billboard Global 200. And visually, she made sure nobody confused her identity. Thai influences ran through the music video from start to finish, with cultural references and traditional styling that felt intentional, not decorative. Even Thailand's Prime Minister publicly praised her for bringing Thai culture to a global stage. But the real surprise came from the B-side. Money took its time, then exploded. It started climbing through late 2021, got pushed to US radio as the second single, and suddenly turned into a global hit. It peaked at number 10 on Billboard Global 200, reached the Billboard Hot 100, and made history as the first song by a female K-pop soloist to chart multiple weeks there. The UK followed too, with an 8-week run on the singles chart. And it kept going. By November 2023, Money became the first K-pop solo track to reach 1 billion streams on Spotify. At that point, Lisa was simply building a second hit inside the same debut. Outside music, Lisa just kept going on. She launched a MAC Cosmetics collection. Bulgari named her a global ambassador. And in October, she joined DJ Snake, Ozuna, and Megan Thee Stallion on SG, adding another market to her map and giving her a #1 on the Latin airplay chart. Still, her influence had already stretched far before her solo debut even happened. From 2020 to 2021, Lisa served as a dance mentor on Youth With You Seasons 2 and 3. Showing up weekly in front of millions of viewers, it built her reputation as a serious coach, detail-focused, and respected in a completely different arena. Around the same period, Jisoo took her own step into a new lane. In December 2021, Snowdrop premiered, marking her acting debut in a leading role. Set during South Korea's 1987 democracy movement, the drama ran into early 2022 and introduced Jisoo as more than an idol face. It was her first real entry into the acting world, and it gave BLACKPINK another side. Then, in August 2022, Rosé expanded again. She became a Solwasu global ambassador, adding another win to her lane. At this point, each member held multiple brands, multiple audiences, and multiple income streams. It was different lanes, yet same empire building. The solo run didn't slow down, even while the group kept moving forward together. The 28th of August 2022 brought another milestone for Lisa.
And the VMA goes to Lisa!
She won the MTV Video Music Award for Best K-Pop with Lalisa, becoming the first K-pop solo artist to take home a VMA. Then, on November 13, she won MTV Europe Music Award for Best K-pop, making her the first solo K-pop artist to win an EMA too. In 2023, Lisa joined Taeyang on appearing in the music video and performing the track with him. It was a high-profile collaboration with a second-generation icon, and it showed how naturally she could step into a different kind of spotlight. Jennie moved differently. In 2023, she released
I Love You and Me, Dancing in the Moonlight.
It debuted at #1 on Billboard Global excluding US, climbed to #4 on the Circle Digital chart, and reached #39 on the UK singles chart. The release felt low-key, but the impact was clear. Jennie didn't need noise to make things move. Then came the HBO moment. Jennie starred in a Hollywood series, The Idol. The show drew mixed reactions, but her song One of the Girls with The Weeknd and Lily Rose Depp became the real headline. It turned into a viral hit, peaked at #10 on Billboard Global 200 and reached #51 on the Billboard Hot 100, the highest for a female K-pop soloist at the time. It also made her the first Korean female soloist to earn a platinum certification in the US, and it later passed 1 billion streams on Spotify. That opened another door for Jennie, not just as an idol trying something new, but as someone who could step into Western entertainment and still hold attention. The 31st of March 2023 completed the set. Jisoo released her single album Me with the title track Flower. The numbers came in fast. The album sold 1.03 million copies in its first week, becoming the first album by a K-pop female soloist to pass 1 million first-week sales, and the best-selling female solo album in South Korean history. Flower debuted at #2 on Billboard Global 200. It peaked at #2 on the Circle Digital chart and stayed in the top 10 for 12 weeks. It also reached new highs for a Korean female soloist on the Canadian Hot 100 and UK singles chart at the time. 9 music show wins followed, including Triple Crowns. Jisoo performed at Coachella in April 2023 and BST Hyde Park in July 2023. The final member stepped forward, and her debut didn't play small. Then, the 22nd of November 2023 brought a different level of recognition. All 4 members were officially honored in the UK by King Charles III for their work supporting a global climate campaign. It was the kind of recognition that only happens when the world takes you seriously outside of music. The 29th of December 2023 changed everything. All 4 members chose not to renew their individual contracts with YG Entertainment. The group contract stayed for BLACKPINK activities, but solo careers became fully self-owned. People questioned what it meant. The members answered by moving fast. Jisoo built her own label Blissoo across 2023 and 2024. Jennie launched Odd Atelier in 2023. Lisa created L Loud Co. in 2024, then signed with RCA Records on April 10. Rosé signed with the Black label on the 18th of June 2024, founded by longtime BLACKPINK producer Teddy Park. In September, she signed with Atlantic Records for US distribution and WME for worldwide representation. 4 separate teams, 4 different systems, but when it came to the group, the name still stayed the same. Then 2024 hit, and it felt like 4 careers moving at once. Jennie goes on first. Odd Atelier partnered with Alta Music Group for co-management on July 24, then Columbia Records followed on September 8. She stayed visible everywhere, from variety shows like Apartment 404 and My Name is Gabriel, to brand work that went far beyond being the face of Chanel, Calvin Klein, Jacquemus, Gentle Monster, Porsche. She even designed her own collections with several brands, stepping into the role of collaborator, not just ambassador. And the music kept showing up in key moments. Jennie featured on Zico's
Up and down, round and round, hit the spot.
in 2024, which hit #1 on the Circle Digital chart and Billboard World Digital Songs. Matt Champion's Slow Motion followed, keeping her name in the conversation without rushing a full solo album. Lisa took the global pop route and pushed it hard. June 2024 kicked it off with Rockstar. Then came New Woman with Rosalia in August, and Moonlit Floor in October, flipping a familiar classic into something fresh. Each release showed a different side of Lisa, and the run felt planned like a series, not random singles. In October, she signed with Wasserman Music for worldwide touring. Then the acting lane opened. HBO's The White Lotus Season 3 cast her as Mook, filming in Thailand. She also joined Extraction Tigo alongside Ma Dong-seok and Lee Jin-wook for her Korean acting debut with a late 2026 release. Thailand appointed her tourism ambassador for the Amazing Thailand campaign. She switched from Celine to Louis Vuitton as brand ambassador in July, while Bulgari stayed. And on top of everything, she became the first K-pop female soloist to reach 100 million followers on Instagram. Rosé saved her biggest move for later. The 18th of October 2024 became one of the loudest solo moments K-pop had seen in years. APT featuring Bruno Mars dropped and debuted at number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100, later climbing to number 3. That made Rosé the first female K-pop act to debut in the top 10 and reach the top 5. The music video hit 300 million views in just over 22 days, breaking a record that had stood for over a decade. Later, it became the fastest music video by an Asian act to reach 1 billion views on YouTube. The song spent multiple weeks at number 1 on Billboard Global 200, eventually holding the top spot for 12 weeks and finishing as the number 1 song on the 2025 year-end chart. It's not even too much to say the whole world listened to that song. Then, Rosé announced her debut album Rosie on October 1 for a December 6 release. Then Number 1 Girl dropped on November 22, pulling everything back into a more emotional space, with a very basic production that ended up letting her voice lead. Her brand world grew too. In 2024, she became a global ambassador for Puma, adding sportswear to a lineup that already included Saint Laurent, Tiffany & Co., Sulwhasoo, and Skims. Different brands, different audiences, and a wider reach than ever. Jisoo moved in her own direction. Her brand run kept building. Dyson in December 2023, Alo Yoga for a spring 2024 campaign, Self-Portrait in March, becoming the first musician to lead their campaign. Tommy Hilfiger arrived in fall 2024, and Cartier stayed with her through it all. Dior remained her main fashion house as a global ambassador since 2021. At the same time, she kept going outside music. She made a cameo in Dr. Chan and Lost Talisman in September 2023. Her lead role in Snowdrop earned her Outstanding Korean Actress at the 17th Seoul International Drama Awards in 2022. She also launched her YouTube channel Happy Jisoo 103% in early 2023, donating the profits to Save the Children, a global charity that supports children in need. Acting became her main focus, while she prepared her music quietly in the background. The 6th of December 2024 kicked off the release marathon. Rosé dropped Rosie, a 12-track album fully in English. Songs like made the album feel more personal. Her voice stayed front and center, with nothing hiding behind heavy production. Every song in that album is a no-skip. And the numbers backed it up. The album debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200, the highest ever for a female K-pop soloist. It hit number 4 in the UK, another record. It reached number 2 on the Circle album chart and earned certifications across multiple countries. Rosé also became the first K-pop artist to appear on Apple Music's year-end Top 100 global list. Later, Apple Music named APT the number 1 global song of 2025. Then February 2025 turned into a full-on solo season. Jisoo signed her global solo deal with Warner Records on January 28, and on February 14, she released Amortage. The title track Earthquake hit #1 on Billboard World Digital Songs, and her sales came in strong right away. The project showed love like a rough montage of real moments, messy and intense. Physical copies followed on March 14, and the Korean charts responded immediately. And she took it on the road. Jisoo followed up with her solo Asia tour, bringing Amortage to fans face-to-face and turning the era into something real beyond the charts. But the bigger story in February came from her screen work. Jisoo starred in the zombie comedy Newtopia, which premiered on Prime Video and kept her acting lane moving forward at full speed. Lisa entered the year like she wanted to take over. February 6 brought featuring Ray and Doja Cat. Then on February 28, she released her full album, Alter Ego. The concept leaned into 4 different sides of her personality, and the track list made it feel global on purpose. She also appeared on Maroon 5's Priceless, keeping her name active across multiple scenes at once. The milestones kept stacking. Rockstar became her first #1 on Billboard Global excluding US. The album passed 2 billion streams on Spotify. Lisa crossed 2 billion too, making Lisa the first K-pop female soloist with 2 projects over that mark. And Money stayed untouchable, hitting 1 billion Spotify streams first and earning another Guinness World Record. Then Jennie brought the final piece in. She opened 2025 with Love Hangover, featuring Dominic Fike on January 31. February 21 followed with Extra L, featuring Doechii. Then, March 7 completed the run with her debut studio album, Ruby. Mantra had already set the tone back in October 2024, and the album leaned into high-profile collaborations like Dua Lipa on Handlebars, plus names like Childish Gambino and Kali Uchis. Ruby sold over 1 million copies worldwide, landed in the top 10 across more than 19 countries, and became the highest charting album by a K-pop female soloist in the UK. Mantra hit #3 on Billboard Global 200 and the Circle Digital chart, and it also broke a UK singles chart record for a Korean female soloist.
Come on, it's gonna be fucking hard.
But the track that really took over was
Don't pause, take it to the chorus. Wanna rock with Jennie? Keep your head down, nails done like Jennie.
Brazilian funk and funk sounds, confident delivery, and a hook that moved fast across the internet. It became her third #1 on the Circle Digital chart, climbed into the top 5 on Billboard Global 200, and pushed her past the 4 top 10 hits BLACKPINK and Lisa had on Global excluding US. Then came a bigger flex. Every single from Ruby entered the Billboard Hot 100, and Jennie became the first K-pop female soloist to place 3 songs on the chart in the same week. The wave didn't stay on charts only. Like Jennie became the most streamed K-pop song on Spotify in the first half of 2025, the music video became the first K-pop MV released in 2025 to hit 100 million views, doing it in 62 days. TikTok went even crazier, with over 5 billion views tied to the song. Jennie also became the first female K-pop soloist to pass 3 billion Spotify streams in a single year, and like Jennie, landed on Apple Music's year-end Top 100 global list, putting her in another rare category. March brought more recognition. Jennie appeared in the Chanel 25 handbag campaign and received the Global Force Award at Billboard Women in Music, becoming the first Korean soloist to win at the ceremony. And while the solo albums were still fresh, Lisa added another first. On the 2nd of March 2025, she performed at the 97th Academy Awards, becoming the first K-pop artist ever to perform at the Oscars. She delivered Live and Let Die during a James Bond tribute, alongside Doja Cat and Ray at the Dolby Theater in Los Angeles. Rosé also landed on the Time 100 list. Jennie and Lisa performed solo sets at Coachella, proving they could carry those stages alone without leaning on the group name. May gave Rosé another soundtrack moment. She released
Baby, let's get all the way undone.
for the F1 film, one of the biggest blockbusters of 2025. She also teamed up with Alex Warren on My Mind, adding another collab to her run that year. She also attended the Met Gala, and the fashion world treated her like a main character. Then, July 2025 brought the group back into focus. BLACKPINK released Jump, their first group song in nearly 2 years. It debuted at #1 on Billboard Global 200, giving them their third #1 on the chart. The group still worked, and the gap made the return hit harder. The Deadline World Tour began in South Korea. Each member performed solo songs from their own era during the shows. And the setlist kept changing as the tour went on, letting each member bring their solo era into the show. That same month, Jisoo's film debut, Omniscient Reader: The Prophecy, hit theaters, pushing her acting career even further past television. And she wasn't slowing down. Another drama, Boyfriend on Demand, was already lined up for early 2026. September 2025 brought more trophies. Rosé won VMA Song of the Year with APT, becoming the first K-pop act to ever win that category. Lisa's Born Again won Best K-pop at the same ceremony, giving her a third win in that category and tying BTS for the most wins in its history. October brought Jisoo back into music again. She released Eyes Closed with Zayn, earning her highest charting UK solo song and her first entry on the Billboard Hot 100. Then November 2025 delivered the Grammy breakthrough. Rosé earned 3 Grammy nominations for APT at the 68th Annual Grammy Awards, including Record of the Year and Song of the Year. It became the most nominated song by any Korean artist in Grammy history, and she became the first K-pop lead artist nominated in a Big Four category. Guinness World Records followed. This time, it wasn't Western attention treating K-pop like a trend. Rosé broke through as a pop artist competing at the highest level. And the year closed with awards flooding in. At the Melon Music Awards on December 20, Jennie performed and won 3 awards, including Record of the Year, becoming the first soloist in MMA history to take the grand prize. Rosé received a South Korean presidential commendation for her cultural contributions, and she collected major wins across multiple ceremonies as well. The 10th of January 2026 brought the 40th Golden Disc Awards. Jennie became the first artist to win the newly established Artist of the Year Grand Prize, while also taking awards for Global Impact, Best Digital Song, and more. She also dominated at MAMA, APMA, and Tencent Music's year-end awards. In just the span of a few months, all 4 solo worlds were fully active. No overlap, no fighting for the same crowd. 4 different lanes pulling attention from 4 different directions. And by early 2026, all eyes turned back to BLACKPINK. January 2026 arrived with all 4 members at their peak. Jennie had her lane locked with fashion and music moving together. Rosé had reached a new global level, backed by Grammy attention and streaming power. Lisa had built the widest reach, turning every release into a global moment. And Jisoo had Korea fully with her, growing her name through acting and carefully chosen partnerships. The separation never broke BLACKPINK. It expanded them. Fashion, music, acting, charts, brands, global stages. One group turned into 4 careers running at full speed. And when they came back together in 2026, it didn't feel like a reunion to survive. It felt like 4 icons choosing the same name again. BLACKPINK dared to be bold. Will you?